Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is psychic medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be talking about Whitney Thore and doing a psychic reading on her. She is from My Big Fat Life on the TLC network. If you haven't seen that show, definitely check it out. She is a dancer. She is a performer. She is someone that is a reality star, the reality TV. I don't know what you call them, the shows on TLC. I think they're like reality TV series. But she is somebody that talks about, her life and being body shamed by other people because she is, someone that is obese. And I can relate because I have always, been heavy myself and had issues growing up, being bullied, etc. So I can definitely relate to Whitney on so many levels. I am a big fan of the show, and I would love to have her on my show, Soul Chat with Ray, one of these days, to see what share. I feel like she could share a lot of wisdom and a lot of inspiration to people out there that are going through weight struggles and journeys, and understanding that we can defy the odds and the stigma that his society has put on us as people who are either obese or morbidly obese. And while it may not be exactly healthy, sometimes there are conditions that contribute to that. And even through that, we're always, I feel like a lot of people, even thin people, are constantly just fighting, to maintain what is an ideal weight, what has ideally been programmed into us, into thinking that, when you look at the fashion houses and the fashion clothes, they all come in a size 4, 2 to 4 or 4 to 6. And like all those sizes are considered, stick figure, kind of like the standard norm in the fashion world. And when you look at big and tall clothes for men that are big and tall, they start, like it's the size 46 waist on up, but mainly like the fashion for men is like size 28 waist to 30, 34, 36. It's like the ideal waist to have, which is unrealistic in the world that we live in, and I feel like they kind of still, we see a lot of these designers that are discriminating against people who are our size, that are bigger or heavier, that we don't have the same privileges, and a lot of people don't know the circumstances. And I've spoken about this, but I'm going to get into the reading now and tell you exactly what I see for her for the remainder of 2020 going into 2021. Now, as we know that the pandemic we're in right now, I feel like she is going through a lot of restructuring, cleaning up her life in many ways. I do feel like, it's very painful to live your life very open to the public eye. So, what we see about her getting bullied on the show, I think is just like a glimpse of it. I can imagine, I don't read all her posts or anything, but I imagine she gets tons of DMs that are just negative. And, just people that are constantly, well, you need to lose weight. It's not healthy to be this way, just body shaming. And, for her, she's entering this new cycle. I do feel like she's very motivated. She's gotten to a point where I feel like she's getting control of her weight, and weight loss is something that she's looking forward to, but she's never going to be a stick figure. And I feel like that's something that she has conveyed on the show. And I feel like for her body type, unless she got like that weight loss surgery, which is something I don't feel like she wants to eventually do, but she may. There may be a time where she does decide to get that weight loss surgery and lose a lot of the weight, that way, because I feel like, for her, it's going to be just like it is for myself and other people in the world that are not going through that surgery. And I'm not advocating that surgery either. I just want to be clear, but I'm stating the obvious is that there is always like this boomerang effect, or this yo-yo bouncing up and down with our weight and fluctuating. For her, I feel like part of her weight, and I've spoken about this, is that she is someone that is a healer, and she came to earth as of a very specific mission and a very public mission to help inspire other people to love themselves and to help them feel good about themselves. And I think a lot of people that tune into the show don't necessarily see this or see this aspect of her. And as a healer, a lot of healers tend to have problems with weight from a very young age. And it may not start very young. It can start after college, or, in your teens or into adulthood. But a lot of people that are healers or work in the spiritual realm, as a psychic, medium, clairvoyant, all of that we tend to have weight problems because we hold a lot of what we call spiritual weight. And I know a lot of people are probably listening to this and thinking that's way out there, that that's just a theory. But it's not. I've seen a lot of my colleagues and people who do spiritual work or that are healers out there, and not even identify themselves, because I don't feel like Whitney identifies herself as a healer, but she is a healer. And so people will go through weight issues throughout their whole life because we're magnets to heavy energy, negative energy. That is, we try to absorb other people's energy and help them. That's something that I feel like she does often on camera, which is taking on other people's problems, her friends and things like that. And all that is stress. People call it stress. I call it spiritual weight, basically spiritual weight that adds onto our normal weight that we have. But the more that I feel like now that she's entering this whole new cycle and doing away with a lot of the negativity, she's going to kind of plateau and kind of reach a point where she is happy with herself. And again, I feel like these are happier times for her. Like, she experienced a lot of the darkness, a lot of the bullying and things like that early on in her in her life. And some of us that are healers or spiritual workers, when we come to earth, we sometimes take upon a lot of that early on in our careers or early on in our lives, and as we get older, that tends to go away. When I get into her life, her career, she's going to be very busy. There's a lot of communication. I feel like there's other things that she has and aspires towards. I don't know if like a clothing line is something that she's like, an athletic clothing line for plus size people is going to be something that she works on, or a plus sized clothing line. But I see something around that. I also feel like she may have an offer to get into the acting world. This could be like auditioning and being casted into some kind of show, which I feel like she would be really good as an actress, even though she doesn't see herself as that. But she is gonna continue to flourish. I see her career really taking off. This is just the beginning with TLC. I do feel potentially she could be on another network at some point. I also feel like there is going to be something about a book being written about her life, and this could be within the next 5 to 10 years. Anywhere between now and 5 to 10 years, there would be a book that is written about her life. This could be semi-autobiographical or just an autobiography on her life, and kind of, or like something that's more of an inspiration to people that are struggling with weight. When it comes to her friendships, like I said, she's had a lot of off and on friendships on the show, especially with Buddy and things like that. I want to say here that I know that she is engaged, or she was engaged or on the show to that guy Chase, and then there's Buddy, and there's always been questions deep in at the soul level, I think, for her, whether or not her and Buddy could have anything, and what about her relationship with Chase. I actually think both guys are good for her. The thing with Buddy and her, they're twin flames, and so with twin flames, they are two souls, and like I've spoken about this before, they're two souls that are alike. They're so alike, and they'll always remain friends. There could be sexual tension and things like that, sexual chemistry in the past, but typically they tend to remain friends, and twin flames don't always work out. That's the majority of it. It's almost like a cat and mouse game. And the thing that we see on the TLC show is that kind of being validated on how she is feeling towards Buddy. He's going to always hold a special place in her heart. She's always going to be with him as a friend. But as far as like taking it further and being in a long-term committed relationship, I don't feel like that's going to happen. Because again, it is sacred to have a twin flame, kind of bond with someone. It's very rare. Some people don't have a twin flame in their existing life. I want to be clear about that. Everybody has a twin flame, but you may not have one in this present lifetime. In Whitney's case, she does. And when I get into her relationship with Chase, I also feel like, she is moving faster now, because I feel like she wants to have children, and she may get pregnant. This is something that we could see on the show, that there is a pregnancy scare, or there is an actual announcement over the next 2 to 3 years. I feel like she has an open window between now and 3 years to be pregnant, and her first child would be a girl. And I feel like this would be a blessing to her, and it's very possible that she could go through that, even though she has PCOS. I believe that's what it's called. The ovarian syndrome or hormonal type of thing that prevents pregnancies and things like that. It makes it very difficult. But I feel like if she really wants to fall pregnant, that it's very possible. It's something that she has maybe thought about, and I feel like it is going to come into fruition. Now, I do feel Chase is a soulmate for her, but the thing is that we can have multiple soulmates in this lifetime, and I don't feel like Chase and her are going to be together forever. They could get married, they could, have a child together, but I don't feel like he is her lifelong partner either. I feel like, when it comes to Whitney, love is going to be a revolving door. It's going to be a theme where she gets kind of, happy with someone, love someone, and kind of there kind of is like a codependent behavior, and it's almost like she's wanting someone to rescue her in some ways on a subconscious level, and then that relationship just doesn't work out because there is kind of control on either part of themselves. And I do feel like he is very soothing to her. He is someone that's very kind of balanced and brings balance into her life. And there is potential. But like I said, I don't want this reading to be misinterpreted in me just saying, on all my readings that people that are together are not going to work out. There's a potential for her and Chase to make this relationship work. But I don't feel like it's going to work because her soul is so busy in doing, focusing on her career and then focusing on her family. Her mom and her dad are very close to her, very near to her heart, when it comes to her family. And I feel like in some ways, she feels like it's kind of hard to duplicate what her mom and her dad have, and what the expectations that they have on her. It creates this pressure that she has internalized in so many ways, and it is internalized and transformed into anxiety and kind of insecurities that kind of creep up in a relationship when she's just about to be happy. I also feel like she will find that happiness and she will be married, but it wouldn't be until close to like her 40s when I see like a long-term relationship. I think she is in her 30s, quite possibly. Correct me if I'm wrong. She may be younger than that, but I do feel like she is in a point right now where she is very focused on everything and trying to get balance. And be happy and create a family. But again, there's some insecurities and fears that take over. But I do feel like genuinely, if she sets down and really is determined to have a child, even if it would require like hormone therapy or in vitro or something like that, she could fall pregnant and would have a child, and it would be a female. I feel like she could have potentially 2 children. But again, this is going to be in her lifetime I'm talking about. But Spirit just shows me one as of right now, that she would definitely have. It's not impossible. And I do get that she's going to be very focused, very busy over the next 2 years, like I said, in creative projects. There's something where she's going to be going through training for something different on, and I don't know exactly what this is, but I feel like there's an element of like opening, I don't know, like something related to food, nutrition. There is some kind of training or something that she's going to be going on, and maybe be sponsored by a company that deals with that. So that's what I kind of get, a lot of different sponsors and partnerships and opportunities coming to her. When it comes to Chase and how he feels about her, I feel like he feels like she is a soulmate as well. I feel like he wants to be her knight in shining armor, but I do see eventually that there's another guy. I don't know who this person is, but I do see another person entering her life over the next 5 years, or between now and 5 years. There is another person entering her life. And I do feel like there is going to be some kind of confusion between these two people. I don't feel like it's Buddy at all, but it would be somebody else. And I feel like she's going to receive a lot of criticism, going to be in the headlines, a lot of scandals because of this whole love triangle or love situation. When you live your life very open to the public and to the spotlight, you're up to receiving criticism from other people, and being talked about. And so I feel like at some point in her life, she wants to kind of stay away from the cameras and the life. I feel like for the next couple of years, you know, she will be in the spotlight and stuff, and then eventually she's going to move away from the spotlight and refocus on her family, creating a family, having that kind of bond. And then, you know, again, I see acting in that. So in the future, there could be some more television opportunities and things of that nature that I see for Whitney. And for her, like at the end of the day, you know, she's created a big bubble of protection around her. I feel like her needing to, you know, she's needing to, and this is the message from Spirit, to kind of reconnect to her spiritual side. I feel like she does believe in God. There is faith, but I do feel like on some level, like all the hate and stuff that she's received over the years, it's kind of created scars in her heart chakra area. And so with that, there's a lot of questions and just doubt and about the future and what the future holds for her. And her having some kind of connection, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's working with crystals, would help her in some way to feel more grounded and connected with her higher self, and know that all the decisions that she's making in this lifetime are all the right decisions that she needs to make, and not doubt it. Because I feel like at the end of the day, she doubts or has she questions everything. It's like over analyzing things, but she has a good heart and she has a good mind. And I feel like her parents, whether they're here in the physical world years from now or they transition into spirit, they're going to always be with her and always be in, you know, like her guardian angels. And I do feel like she did come into this life and selected the right family for herself, because through that family and through her own spiritual journey, her own life path, she has shown them a lot of strength and given them a lot of hope and things of that nature. So I wish Whitney all the best, and I want to thank all of my fans for requesting this reading as well. And blessings and love and light. If y'all have any questions or suggestions on other celebrities to read, comment in the comment section below this video. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and take care. Until next time, bye.